Welcome all. Today we are just going to see about the topic name called knowledge representation. Knowledge representation is one of the most important concept in artificial intelligence. It is the method for storing and organizing information about the world so that the AI can understand, reason and make the decision by their own. So, knowledge representation is the process of representing real world information in the form that the computer can use to solve the problems, answer the questions, and make intelligent decisions. Why we are using of knowledge representation that focus to very important. So first of all, so it acts and intelligently. It must have describes what it knows about the world. The first point, it stores the facts, objects, events, and relationship. Example, a dog is an animal. Second point, so describes knowledge conscientiously. Avoid storing unnecessary or repeated information. Example, instead of storing every dog has four legs, store the rule dogs generally have four legs. The third point, retrieve the right knowledge whenever it is needed. Quickly access relevant the information for decision making. Whenever the example we can tell it as an can a dog run? The system retrieves the information about the dogs and the movement of the steps that the dog can walk on. Fourth one, how do we generate the new pages of knowledge? So using and generating the new knowledge, so we can exist facts that can be used and the rules to infer the new facts. Examples, all birds can fly. Sparrow is a bird. So therefore, how can we generate the knowledge based the rule to infer is that sparrow can fly, and it can be of deal with uncertain knowledge. So real world information is often incomplete or uncertain. So there is an 80 percentage of chance of rain today. All AI can uses the probability or any NLP or any fuzzy logic to will to deal with the uncertainty. So some of the characteristics that can be represented with knowledge representation, it facts, it represents the facts correctly and it will be of accurate, easy to store and retrieve the efficient way, easily understandable by the humans and mission to interpretation, can accommodate new knowledge flexible way, helps to derive the new information, and it is also supports the reasoning technique. So come some knowledge representation techniques that can be used in the nowadays is that logical representation that can be calculated with the facts and rules. Semantic networks represents the knowledge as a graphs. Stores the knowledge in structured records that can be said to be as in frames. Use if then else condition that can be represented with the production rules, which can be comes under the predicate as well as the propositional logic. Define the concepts and relationship in the domain that can be represented with the ontologies. Moving to the next slide. What is knowledge representation? So knowledge representation is the method of storing and organizing the information in which that the computer or an artificial intelligence system can understand and use of decision making. It is also used to describe how the information about the world is represented by inside an artificial intelligence system so that the system can think, reason, learn, and to solve the problems by making their own decision. So some of the key points that can be represented with the knowledge representation. Representation of information. So that can be converting the real world information into the format that the machine can process. For example, human knowledge, bird can fly. All representation that can be represented of in the terms of predicate logic, bird of x that can be implies to can fly of x. So second point of view, we can represent it with expressing the beliefs, intentions, and judgment. So, some belief we can tell what it knows about the world, intentions what it plans to do, judgment, mainly based on the decision it makes the based on the available knowledge. And it's also supported with automated reasoning. So once the knowledge can be represented, AI can use reasoning technique to derive the new information and make decisions automatically. We can take it as in statement 1, all humans are mortal. Statement 2, Ram is a human. Conclusion, Ram is a human, that the AI can be represented and generates with new knowledge from the existing fact. So the fourth and final point of it, so the main goals that can be represented with the knowledge representation is to imitate human, how human can think and how they can make their decision. An intelligent agent that observes to its environment, stores the knowledge, reason using knowledge, and chosen the best action. So these are the some representation of knowledge representation. Knowledge representation and reasoning. So it is also used to represent the information from the real world for a computer to understand and utilize the knowledge to solve the real time complex problems. And here it focuses on representing real time knowledge in the form of computer that can understand and by using the knowledge to making the decision, solving problems and performing the intelligent actions. So why we are just going for knowledge representation? As we already told about it, it is a process of converting the information about the real world in a structured format that the machine can be stored and easily understand. So what is meant by reasoning over here in the knowledge representation? So reasoning is the process of using stored knowledge to derive the new information and taking their own decision. So all example, statement 1 we can take it as an all animals need food. Statement 2, dog is an animal. Conclude, dog needs a food. So the computer uses the reasoning to infer new facts from the existing knowledge. So why KKR, that is of knowledge representation and reasoning, is more important? Whenever we are just going to use this complex real world problem, first of all we want to understand the information and draw the logical conclusion, making the intelligent decision and communicate with the humans in a natural language. Finally, we can learn the from the existing knowledge. So this is about the thing. And knowledge representation versus database. So that in turn we are just going to represent with the three conditions. So one is understanding the relationship between the facts, draw conclusion, learn from the knowledge, and act intelligently. So that is a good example for it, and we'll be moving to the next slide. So the diagrammatic representation of knowledge representation that can be overviewed here. So how we can represent this type of a diagram? So this type diagram especially showed the domain knowledge, raw data, percept, reasoning, internal representation, and final fact. So let me discuss one by one. So domain knowledge, so knowledge which can be about the specific field or domain. So example, we can take it as a medical knowledge, banking knowledge, or traffic rule. So this information that can be provided the background information of the artificial intelligence system. So next we will be take it as a raw data. It is an unprocessed fact that can be collected from the environment. So we can mention the raw data as an example of temperature reading, patient symptoms, or any sensor values. So percept, information received through sensors or observation. Example, a robot detecting an obstacle or a camera capturing the image. So internal representation, the AI stores the domain knowledge, raw data, and percept to form the structural format. So this entire representation is said to be as an knowledge representation. It is, helps to the system understanding and organize the information. Then we will be moving to the reasoning. So the artificial intelligence system that applies the logical rules for the representing knowledge. it derives a new conclusion and making decisions of it. And final facts, after the internal representation, the conclusion obtained from the reasoning. So the patient has flu is a good example for the final facts. So moving to that, there will be of different types of knowledge representations over there: object knowledge, event knowledge, performance knowledge, fact knowledge, meta knowledge, knowledge base. So let me go for object knowledge. Knowledge about the physical entities and their properties. Example, car has a wheels, bird has wings. Helps the artificial intelligence identity and classify the entities over here. So even knowledge about the action, occurrences or change over the time. A customer places an order is a good example. A real time example that we can tell as in the traffic light changes from red to green. So here the artificial intelligence understand the sequences and predict the outcomes of it. Performance knowledge, it is also said to be as an procedural knowledge. So knowledge about the how we are just going to perform a task or procedure. So steps to solve a mathematical problem is a good example for it. Procedure for diagnosing a disease is also a other example. Next is fact knowledge. Knowledge consisting of true statement about the world. So Chennai is in Tamil Nadu. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Earth revolves around the sun. These are the examples of facts. So mainly the basic information is used for the reasoning purposes. So meta knowledge. So knowledge about the knowledge. So that is of meta, the term that can be represented as an knowledge about the knowledge. So knowing which rule is more reliable, knowing where the pieces of information came from and what fact it can be updated at the last. So that is about the meta knowledge. Knowledge base, a repository that stores all the knowledge used by an AI system. It contains of facts, rules, objects, relationship and procedures. So the example for uh, the knowledge base, which can be represented as an medical expert system, that can be represented as an disease information, symptoms, treatment and diagnostic rules. So this is about the knowledge representation overview. So the types of knowledge, the diagrammatic view, it has been mentioned here. So there are 5 different types of knowledges are there. One is of declarative knowledge, structural knowledge, procedural knowledge, meta knowledge, heuristic knowledge. Let me see one by one. So declarative knowledge. Declarative, the term that can be represented as know what. So declarative knowledge is a knowledge that can be consist of facts, concepts and information about the world. It answers the question what is true. Example, Paris is the capital of France. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. A dog is a mammal. The other example, a medical expert system facts such as fever is a symptom of flu. Diabetics also causes a blood sugar. The main advantages of declarative knowledge is to easily storing the information and updating the information easily. Easy for the humans to understand very quickly. This is all about the declarative knowledge. That is of what is true. Next, we will be moving on to structural knowledge. Structural knowledge describes the relationship between different concepts, objects, or facts. A car consists of an engine, wheel, and brakes. A student belongs to the department. Bird are the types of animal. Example, in a semantic network, animal which can be represented as bird, bird can be represented as a sparrow. So general advantages of structural knowledge, it helps to understand the connections and hierarchies. Third one is procedural knowledge, know how. So it describes how to perform a task to solve the problem. So example, steps to make a tea. So first of all, it will be boiling the water, add the tea powder, add milk and sugar and serve. The navigation system, that procedure is for finding the shorter route from the location to other. So it is also an other good example. So it, whatever the task we are just going to allocate for AI, it does for automatically. So that is a good example for the procedural knowledge. So moving to the next knowledge, it is of meta knowledge. So it is about knowledge about the knowledge. So it decides AI which knowledge is useful and when it is used. So example, knowing that the particular rule is more reliable than other. So knowing the source of information is a good example for the meta knowledge. So a example that can be represented with the laboratory test results are more reliable than the patient assumption. So it improves the decision making and reasoning the efficiency. So moving to the next knowledge, it will be of heuristic knowledge. So it's an experience based knowledge, or we can represent a thumb rule. Use it to solve the problem quickly. So the example is, if a patient has a fever and cough, then we can predict flu is likely. Choose the shortest queue at the supermarket. These rules are not always be correct, but often produce the good results. So we can take it as an heuristic rule in a chess game. Control the center of the board is an heuristic rule that can be represented with it. The advantages of heuristic search that can be reduces the search time and helps to solve the complex problem very easily. These are about the types of knowledge. So this is about it. So it includes the concepts, facts and objects and expressed in the declarative sentences. Structural knowledge, it is a basic problem solving knowledge that describes the relationship between concepts and objects. This also responsible procedural knowledge, also responsible for knowing how to do something and includes the rules, strategies and procedures. Meta knowledge defines the knowledge about the other types of the knowledge. That is knowledge about the knowledge. Heuristic knowledge that represents some knowledge expert in the field of subject. So next we can be represented with the cycle of knowledge representation. So in that cycle of knowledge representation, there will be of different types of blocks are there. Starting from the perception, next is learning, knowledge representation, reasoning, planning and execution. These are the step by step procedure. So the diagram especially shows the information about the that can be perceived, learn from it, represent the knowledge, reasons, plan action and finally executes them. So first we'll be seeing about the perception. So we already know about the perception. It is a process of collecting the information from the environment through the sensors, camera, microphones or any other user inputs. Example, we can see recently real-time example, traffic lights, pedestrian, other vehicles. The data about the surroundings, it can be raw data about the surrounding is a perception. Next we'll be moving to the learning. Learning enables the AI system to improve its knowledge and performance based on the experience as well as the data. A good example for learning, an email spam filter learns from the previously labeled emails and it improves the ability to identify the spam messages. So next will be of knowledge representation. So we can represent it shortly as an KR. So it stores the information in a structured form so that the AI system can understand and use of it. So example, red signal will be of stop and green signal will be of move. The system organizes facts, rules and relationship. Reasoning. Reasoning used to store the knowledge to draw the conclusion and make the decision of it. Example, the fact will be of red light is on, rule, if the red light is on, stop the car. Conclusion, the stop the vehicle. Making on the decision and conclusion, reasoning can be performed of. Planning. Planning determines the sequence of action required to achieve the goal. So it selects the shortest path route, avoid the traffic and follow the traffic rules. According to the action plan, we can be planned and we can achieve the goal of it. And finally, execution. So it performs the planned action in the real time world. So if you're taking as an example of real, that is of self-driving car, it turns the steering wheel, then it will be of giving accelerator and apply the brakes. The actual action can be done over through a execution. So this is about the thing. And advantages of knowledge representation, that can be of intelligent decision making, efficient problem solving, learning capability, automation, adaptability and better planning. Disadvantages, It will be of taking of a high computational cost because of reasoning and planning, incomplete knowledge for because of the missing knowledge or long decision, handling the uncertainty, maintenance difficulty, and scalability issues. Moving to the next slide. What is the role of knowledge representation in the nowadays in real time world? So this diagram, it shows about the AI system for sensing knowledge, decision making, and action to interact intelligently, and it's with the environment. First we'll be seeing there are three different types of blocks are there with the decision maker: sensing, knowledge, as well as action. So sensing. So sensing is the process of collecting the information from the environment through the sensors, cameras, and other user inputs. So role will be of observes the surroundings and gathering the raw data. A robo uses a camera and sensors detect two obstacles and objects around it. Environment data is an input of it. So moving to the next one will be of knowledge. So it's a collection of facts, rules, experiences, and relationships stored in the AI system. So provides the information needed for decision making, acts as an AI memory, and a AI driven car, that is of self driving car, stores the knowledge such as traffic rules, road signal, and speed limit are the inputs and facts about it. And finally, the decision making will be there. Decision making is a deciding maker, is a brain of AI system. It analyzes and sensing the data that is available to the knowledge to choose the best action for it. It receives the information from sensing, consults the knowledge base, and selects the most appropriate action. Example will be of sensing the detect red signal. Knowledge says about the red map, red means stop, and decision making decides to stop the vehicle. Finally, action will be there. Is the execution of decision made by the AI system. Performs the selected task, interacts with the environment, the self-driving car that can be applied with the brakes, accelerator, and it stops of it. The physical and virtual action that can be output of it. How the entire system will be works, sensing collects the information from the environment, the decision maker receives the information. It consults the knowledge base for the relevant rules and facts. The decision making chooses the best action. Finally, the action module executes the decision of it. So these are the role and responsible of it. Let's we move to the next slide. Next, we will be representing knowledge representation in AI. So these are the methods used to organize and store the knowledge in the form of computers that can understand and use of reasoning and decision making. So there are four important key terms or techniques that can be available in the knowledge representation. That is of logical representation, semantic network representation, production rules, and frame representation. Let me see one by one. Logical representation. So it uses the formal logical statements to represent facts and relationship. It is based on rules and logical reasoning. Example: fact 1, we can take it as an all humans are mortal. Fact 2, Rom is a human. Conclusion will be of Rom is mortal, and it can be represented as an human of X equal to mortal of X, human of Rom. Therefore, mortal of Rom. So, moving to the logical representation, it will be of easy to understand, supports the accurate reasoning, and conclusion are logically valid. So these are the advantages of it. So difficult to represent uncertain knowledge can become complex for large system. These are the disadvantages. So expert system, theory proving, and automated reasoning systems are the applications that can be used in the logical representation. So next is that semantic network representation. So it represents the knowledge as a graph of nodes and links. Nodes, we already know about it. It can be of objects or concepts. Link will be of relationship between them. Animal is a bird, is a sparrow. So in A, that can be represented as sparrow is a bird, bird is an animal, sparrow is an animal. easy to visualize, clearly shows how the relationship is and supports the inheritance of properties. So these are the advantages of it. Difficult to represent, complex rules and large network may become complicated to it. That is of disadvantages of it. NLP, knowledge graphs and expert systems are the applications of it. Moving to the third one, it is a frame representation. It's a data structure used to store the knowledge about the object using with the attributes and the values. So let me take it as an example as frame. A student. Slot will be of having a name, age, course and grade. Value will be of Ravi 20 and he's studying of BTech with a grade of A. The frame stores all the information about the student in one structure in a tabular column and it can be represented in the frames. So advantages we can tell it as an it is can be organized and easily to update, similar for the human thinking and supports the inheritance. Disadvantages not suitable for complex reasoning, large frame systems can be difficult to maintain. Applications in which there will be of an expert system, object oriented AI system and information management system. The production rule is the final rule will be there. It is can be represented with if then rules. So we can take it as an example. If fever and cough is there, then it will be a flu. If traffic light equal to red, then automatically stop the vehicle. The AI checks the condition and executes the corresponding action to it. Easy to create and modify, simple reasoning process, suitable for expert system. These are the advantages of the production rules. So large number of rules become difficult to manage and rules make conflict with each other. So these are the disadvantages for it. So medical diagnosis analysis, chatbots nowadays we are using with the AI, decision support systems. These are the applications that we are using in a real time with the production rules. Next we'll be moving to the next slide. So representation requirements. So how will you represent the requirements? The good knowledge representation should not store only the knowledge, but it also helps an AI system for reasoning, learn and solve problems effectively. So it can be represented with representation accuracy. So the knowledge representation system should able to represent the required knowledge about the domain correctly and completely. So the main purpose that we are using with representational accuracy, it ensures the fact, objects, events and a relationship that are represented accurately. It helps the AI understand the real world situation. Example, in a medical expert system, disease will be a flu, systems will be a fever, cough and headache. The system should correctly predict and represent all the facts and relationship. So this is about the important thing. Next is inferential adequacy. So it is an ability of a knowledge representation system to generate the new knowledge from the existing knowledge through the reasoning, allows the AI to draw the conclusion and supports the intelligent decision making is the main purpose of inferential adequacy. So let me take it as an example. Knowledge will be all birds can fly. Sparrow is a bird. Inference will be sparrow can fly. The new fact will be of sparrow can fly is generated from the existing knowledge. Moving to the third efficiency, it's of inferential efficiency is an ability to perform reasoning quickly and focus on the most relevant knowledge. The purpose is to reduce the unnecessary searching and improves the reasoning speed over there. Example, we can take it as an knowledge navigation system. Thousands of roads are stored. The system focuses only the roads that can be connected with the source and destination. This avoids checking every road in the country. Acquisitional efficiency is the ability of easily acquire, update and knowledge, adding the new knowledge to the knowledge base. So makes the system adaptable and supports continuous learning is the main purpose of acquisitional efficiency. So nowadays the chatbot it can be learns with the new customer queries and updates its knowledge base automatically without redesigning the entire system. So this is about the acquisitional efficiency. So next we'll be moving to the approaches that can be represented with knowledge representation with artificial intelligence. First, we'll be seeing about the simple relational knowledge. So, simple relational knowledge is the simplest method of knowledge representation in AI. It stores the fact in the forms of rows and columns. It can be represented as a table similar to the database. Each and every row that can be represented with the object or entity, and each and every column that can be represented with an attribute or the property of the object. So example, student ID, name, age and course will be there. So there will be of different types of parameters will be there. Objects can be represented as students. Attributes can be represented as an student ID, name, age and course. So the knowledge is stored systematically in the tabular column. So the working principle of simple relational knowledge: facts are stored in the records in a table. Relationship between the entities can be represented using the common fields, and information can be easily searched and retrieved. So basically the characteristics that can be represented will be of easy and simple to understand, organized in rows and columns, widely used in database management system, and it can be stored of large amounts of structured data. So easy to create and maintain, and a fast retrieval process for data, efficient storage of structured information that can be represented with an advantages, cannot represent the complex relationship, very little inference and reasoning capabilities, difficult to represent, uncertain or incomplete knowledge are the disadvantages of it. So this is about the approaches that can be represented with simple relational knowledge. Next is inheritable knowledge representation. So it is a technique in which the knowledge can be organized with hierarchical structure of classes and subclasses. Low level classes inherit the properties from the high level classes. The approach reduces the duplication because the common properties are easily stored only once in the parent class and automatically inherited by the child class. The key concepts that can be represented with class: a class can be a group of objects with similar properties. Example is animal, vehicle and student. Instance will be of a specific member of a class. A dog is an instance of an animal, car is an instance of an vehicle. Next, move to the inheritance. We already know about inheritance. It's a subclass or instance. The parent class, the child class can be derived from the parent class. Automatically it can be received from the properties of the parent class. Example will be of animal can be moved, needs found. Bird can be of has a wings, that can be of a sparrow. Boxed node representation, that can be of having of the object, that can be represent box nodes, and connections between the boxes shows the relationship. So these are the advantages of inheritable knowledge will be of reduce the redundancy, easy knowledge management and supports the inheritance, and finally it will be having the organized structures. So difficult for complex relationship and expectation are hard to represent are the disadvantages of inheritable knowledge. So this is about the information that can be approached with the knowledge representation of inheritable knowledge. Inferential knowledge. So it is a knowledge representation technique in which the knowledge can be represented by using the formal logic and rules. It also an artificial intelligence system used to derive the new facts from the existing fact through the logical reasoning. So the main purpose is to enable the system to conclude the new information that is not explicitly stored in the knowledge base. So statement 1 we can take it as in John is a cricketer. Cricketer of John. All cricketers are athletes. So for all of X, the cricketer of X that can be of an athlete of X. So for all of X that can be represented with the inverse of V. So that can be an athlete, and it will be of the arrow symbol can be represented with implies. So reasoning properties will be of followed according to the fact that can be directly, not directly stored, but was being inferred from the existing knowledge. So this is about it, and generates the new knowledge, logical and accurate, supports automatic reasoning and useful in the expert system. Or the advantages, disadvantages: difficult to handle the uncertainty and complex knowledge representation that can be the rules, logical rules that can be used in the real world situations can be very difficult for it. Next will be of the fundamental goals, uh, that is of some of the other representation, the fundamental goals that can be used to draw the conclusions from the information stored in the knowledge base. So instead of representing the knowledge base, the system to reason and generate new information. Dog is an animal, animal can move, dog can be moved. So important attributes that can be represented with instant attribute. The instant attribute indicates the specific object is a member or instance of a class. Dog of Tommy, instant of Tommy or dog. Tommy is a specific object, dog is a class, and Tommy is an instance of a dog. So ISA, that is of is a relationship, that is of condition, the relationship between the subclass and the superclass. DSA is an animal, animal is a living thing. So every dog is an animal, every animal is a living thing. So this is about it, and we can have the last point can be represented as a property inheritance. So the importance of instance and ISA, that is of ISA relationship, is mainly of property inheritance. So it means the lower level classes and the instances automatically receives the properties of the higher level class. So dog can be inherit, can be moved, needs a food. So Tommy is an instance of a dog that can barks, that can be moved, and needs to be have the food of it. So advantages of thing: reduce the duplication of this knowledge and supports the inheritance of the properties, improve the reasoning efficiency, organize the knowledge hierarchically, and makes the knowledge representation simpler and more compact of it. So this is about it. And next will be of reason relationship among the attributes. So objects that can be described with the attributes that we already see in the previous slides about the properties. So these attributes are not independent, have often relationship with the other. So understanding the consistency, perform reasoning and make correct inferences. So what is generally an attribute? So it's in characteristics or properties of an object. So John will be of an object. Attributes will be of age, address, father, and mother. So these are the attributes of that is of age, address, father, and mother are the attributes of the John. Relationship among the attributes. Attributes themselves can related to each other. Consider the two attributes that will be of an parent of and child of. These attributes are related because if one of the value is true, then the other can be automatically determined. So there will be of inverse relationship are there, which can be of one attribute is opposite to other. If the value of the one attribute is added, the corresponding value automatically appear. The inverse of the attribute maintained consistently. So parent-child relationship: parent of Ram and Ravi, child of Ram and Ravi. So that is a good example of inverse. Why inverse relationship is more important? So because of consistency check. So the knowledge base contains parent of Ram and Ravi. Does it not contains child of Ravi and Ram? It can be automatically add and verify the missing information. So this is about the importance of it. Next will be of existence is a hierarchy. So the is a hierarchy organizes the knowledges about the general concepts or a more knowledge specifically. It represents the generalization specialization relationship, whereas the class or attributes that can inherit as the properties for the most general classes. Is a relationship is can be represented as an is a kind of. So generalization and specialization. So generalization and specialization we already know about it. Generalization combining the similar concepts into more general category. Specialization creating a more specific category from the general one. So this is about it. And physical attribute is a more general concept. Physical size is a specialization of physical attribute, and physical size is a specialization of height of it. Since height is in physical size and physical size is in physical attribute, Height can be inherited from all the properties which have the has a value can be measured, and it can be measured by the units. So vehicle hierarchy is a good example for it. Suppose we have a vehicle that has an engine that can be moved. Car has four wheels with an electric car. As an engine can move as four vehicles, that can be reduced as the duplicate of the knowledge. So this is about it. Efficient knowledge storage and supports automatic inheritance with simplifying reasoning. These are the advantages of it. So large hierarchies can be become difficult to manage. Exceptions for difficult for representing, that are the disadvantages. Penguins are the birds, but they cannot be fly. So these are the good examples for existence of is an hierarchy. So next is other issues. So other issues, mainly it can be determines the about the values of attributes that are not explicitly given in the knowledge base. Instead of storing each and every value directly, the AI system uses the existing knowledge, rules, constraints, and relationship to infer or validating the missing rules of it. So why it is needed? So for estimating the missing values, check whether the values are valid, derive the new information from the existing fact. So example one, height attribute. Height is in physical size. So physical size must be measured in all units of a length. So height equal to 170 centimeter, weight equal to height equal to 170 kg. The AI detects it is an error because kg is not a unit of weight and length. Only it can be predicted with the centimeter. The system uses the knowledge and measurement units to validate the value of it. So these are the some example for it. So it helps to infer the missing value and information, detects the invalid or inconsistent values for improving the decision making. It is also reduces the need to store every fact explicitly for the advantages of it. So this is about it, and next we'll be moving to next slide. Single value attributes. So it is an attribute that can have only one value for the particular object at a given time. So the value of the attribute must have the unique and cannot have multiple values simultaneously. So we can take it as a baseball player. So John, height of John equal to 180 centimeters. So John have only one height value. The following would be incorrect. Height of John equal to 180 centimeter. Height of John equal to 190 centimeter. So because a person cannot have the two different heights at the same time. So this is a good example for it. So why we are using of single value attribute? So to maintain the consistency, to improve the data accuracy, only for the correct data value exists, and supports the reasoning for reliable conclusions based on the unique value. So we can take it as an example. Roll number is a single value attribute because only one student can have only one roll number. So the other student will be having other roll number. So this is a good example for single value attribute. So it ensures the data consistency, prevents the conflicting information, simplifies the reasoning and interface. These are the advantages of it. In real world situation may changes over the time, and additional mechanism are needed to store the historical values that can be of disadvantages of them. So moving to the next slide. Next issue will be of choosing a granularity. So generally granularity that can be represent the level of a detail in which the knowledge is represented in knowledge representation system. So when designing a KR system must decide how much detail should be stored. Should knowledge can be represented using high level facts or low level primitives. Why we are using of granularity? So determines the knowledge is represented in high level form. That is, of course, knowledge is stored in a general and compact way. Ravi is a student. So this is an high level fact because it gives only the general information. Fine, low level form. Knowledge is stored with the detailed information. So that provides the more information and detailed knowledge. High level fact, that is of knowledge, is represented using a fewer and more abstract. Advantages will be of requires less storage, easier to represent, and maintain and faster retrieval of it. Low level primitives, the knowledge can be represented by using detailed facts and attributes of it. Birds has wings, birds have feathers, birds can fly, birds lay eggs. It supports the detailed reasoning, more accurate information inference, and can answer only the complex queries. So these are the important of it. Why we are choosing the granularity that focus on very important. It stores the requirements, reasoning speed will be there, and inference of accuracy, complexity of the knowledge base. The balance must be maintained, too much in detail and low too much of detail. So this is about it. So these are the importance of it. So examples. So we can take it as an John spotted the car. The car should be represented as an agent of John, object of car. So such a representation, so it can be making answer questions such as who spotted the car. Suppose we want to know, did John see the car? Given only one fact, we cannot discover the answer. We can be spotted the fact like spotted of x comma y, then saw of x comma y. So now we can infer the answers to the question. So next is set of objects. So this is another issue with it. So sometimes knowledge is not about the single object but about the group or set of objects. In such cases, the AI system must represent the entire set rather than the individual members. So why we are just going to represent the set? If we represent only the individual objects, certain facts can be expressed properly. So there are more sheep than people in Australia. Set of sheep in Australia, set of people in Australia. It does not infer or refer to any specific sheep or person. So the knowledge must attach to the sets rather than the individuals. So these are the representation. So how we are just going to represent the other way. So why set representation is more important. So first we can represent it as an representation of group properties. Some facts make sense for collection, support statistical information used for knowledge, totals, percentage and comparison, enables better reasoning about the populations, categories and groups. So represents collective information knowledge efficiently and used for statistical reasoning and comparison between the groups and reduce the repetitive storage of information. These are the advantages of set of objects. Individual details can be hidden, relationship between the sets can be difficult or represent. So mechanism to connect the sets and individual members are the disadvantages of it. So next we'll be moving to the reason to represent. These are the other issues over there. So most of the members of the group or set, instead of storing the same property repeatedly for every individual object, it is more efficient to store it once the for the entire set. So it includes the memory usage, redundancy, complexity of knowledge base. So all the birds have wings. Sparrow has wings, parrot has wings, pigeon has wings, crow has wings. The same fact must be stored and for the each and every bird. With set representation, birds having the wings. This property is stored only once for the set bird. Any individual bird automatically inherits this property. So we will be using of for all the symbol that can be represented over there while using of predicate logic. So the real-time example we can be have used with it. And the advantages, moving to the advantages, it reduces the redundancy, saves the memory, easy maintenance and supports the efficient inheritance of it. So difficulties to handle the exception handling, complex hierarchies based on the large number of database or knowledge base may create the complicated inheritance structures. So finding the right structure of it. So it since it is having a large number of knowledge stored in the knowledge base, whenever the problem or situation arises, the system must find the most appropriate knowledge structure such as frame, schema, and we can tell it as a semantic network or rule to describe and solve the situation. So this process is called as finding the right structure. So the challenge is not the storing knowledge, but retrieving the right information or knowledge at the right time. So imagine a medical report system. So a patient have fever, cough and headache. The system searches its storage or knowledge base and selects the structure related to the flu diagnosis. If later the new symptoms appears, it will be of chest pain, breathing difficulty. The system may realize the flu structure is not suitable and switch to pneumonia diagnosis structure. So that chooses an initial structure, adds the details for the current situation, and revises the choice if it is needed. Problems that can be involved in finding the right structure. How to perform the initial selection. The AI first chooses the most relevant structure based on the available information. Once the structure is selected, the AI gathers the additional information to complete it. Sometimes we are choosing the first choice may be wrong. The system should be able to switch the better structure. And finally, the current knowledge may not contain a suitable structure. And if a new situation occurs repeatedly, the AI should create a new structure and store for the future and further use of it. So fast retrieval of knowledge retrieval improves the decision making, supports dynamic reasoning, helps for AI adapt to the new situation, enabling the learning from the experiences or the advantages. Difficult in learning the large knowledge bases, wrong initial selections based waste time, and creating the new structures automatically challenging are the disadvantages of it. And moving to the next slide. So knowledge based agent. So agent is one that act according to the environment, and it is also needs to know the knowledge how to act on it. So it stores the information about the environment in a knowledge base and use reasoning to decide what action to perform. So the algorithm we can see about it, knowledge based agent. So input equal to percept, returns will be of action, and it will be of given some information of it. So P stands for current percept, T stands for current time, A stands for action performed, KB stands for knowledge base. So first of all, the step one will be of adding the percept to the knowledge base. So giving the information, that is of give information of KB, comma, make percept sentence of PT. The agent receives the information from the environment and stores into the knowledge base. A robo sees an obstacle. Obstacle ahead time will be of 5. It's stored in the knowledge base, and the obstacles ahead of 5. This updates in the knowledge base. Next will be of query the knowledge base. So action equal to ask of KB comma make query. So the agent examines the stored information and determines the best action used for reasoning. So knowledge base contains if the obstacle ahead, then turn left. Then they ask about the what action should I take now, whether it will be of turn left or turn right. So the action will be of turn left. Store the action. So given time of information KB comma make action equal to sentence of A comma T. The selected action is stored back in the knowledge base. So time left of will be of 5. Now the agent remembers what action it is to be performed. So each and every execute action, the agent performs the chosen action. The robot turns left. So this is one example for it. So let me move to the advantages. Intelligent decision making, the use of knowledge and reasoning rather than the simple reaction. It is also used to learn from the experience, can store the new information in the knowledge base, and it is also used to handle the complex problems suitable for the expert system and intelligent system. It maintains a good powerful memory, remembers the previous perception and actions. So these are the advantages of it. So to move above the disadvantages, it stores the large knowledge base required, needs sufficient knowledge for effective reasoning. Reasoning can be slow, that is of complex query may take much more time. Knowledge maintenance, the knowledge database must be of updated regularly. and it can be represented difficult to represent all real world knowledge. For building the complete knowledge base isn't challenging. Finally, concluding with the knowledge based agent. So it's a knowledge base used to store the information about the environment and make the intelligent decision. So it is also used to receive the percept, stores in the knowledge, query knowledge base to determine the best action, records action taken, and then execute. The cycle enables the reason of an agent to learn to act intelligently in a dynamic environment. Thank you.